veins. Except me. That day, I wondered what would happen when I was released. Would I be allowed to return to my home in Santa Fe? Would I even be able to approach it? Or would the barriers placed around magical cities force me to turn around like they did every human? My body felt foreign on good days, and dead on bad ones. I wasn't sure which was worse. Dead seemed like the obvious choice, but was I really living if I had no sense of who I was anymore? For someone who spent her life ignoring her magic, I was shocked to see how much it defined me. Perhaps it was those 2 short months I spent actually embracing my gift that made me feel this way. Though I didn't care about the why. These days, I didn't care much for anything. Boots stomped down the hall, but the usual sound of plastic tableware tapping against a food tray were absent. An Inquisitor 2 days in a row? Dread churned in my gut at the thought. What if they were here for something other than questioning? Had they decided my guilt? How? I had no magic. Logically, they couldn't sentence me to anything, but I had spent too much time hiding from the system to have any faith in it. People in positions of power rarely played by the rules. Adam. The little voice in my head repeated his name like a mantra, reminding me of all the things he'd done, all the ways he'd proven himself to be a good man. Then why hasn't he come to visit you? I threaded my fingers through my hair and tugged, hoping the sensation would distract me from my train of thought. It didn't, but the guard opening my door did. "Sinclair," he stated, looking down at me with pale green eyes. None of the guards I'd encountered spoke with emotion. I'd call them robots, if it didn't sound so eerily plausible. "Get up. Visitor." I shot up from my bed. Who? The guard glared at me until I stood and approached him with my hands out. He clamped handcuffs on me. Magic or not, prisoners could still throw a punch, and pulled me out into the hall. I stared at the dreary stone walls, trying not to focus on the golden band resting just below my shackles. Despite showing no magical talent, I'd been forced to keep wearing the inhibitor bangle they put on me when I'd been arrested. Since I had no magic, their supposedly painful effects were nullified. But they served as a constant reminder of my situation, and the magic I'd lost. We continued down the hall in silence. I looked at the dozen doors we passed on the way, trying to pick up on any noise that might tell me if someone was in there. There was nothing. Silent as the grave. For a while, I thought I was all alone here, locked in a room at the very end of the hall, so no one would know I existed. But I'd heard the sound of shackles and footsteps, though there'd never been any voices. Still, I couldn't be the only person in Z-Block. After all, the Council had captured other Fireborns. They had to be held somewhere. My steps faltered, as I considered the possibility this was all a ruse. There was no cell block for Fireborn prisoners, because they didn't keep Fireborn prisoners. "Hannah Smith," the guard said with a forceful nudge. He must have thought I was refusing to move in protest. "Move!" I frowned, but continued walking. Hannah Smith? It sounded like a fake name. But you had to pass a background check to get into the Black Citadel. It was possible this person fooled the system, but who were they? Fiona? Could Adam have greased some palms, or pulled a few black hat tricks? The thought of Adam himself sneaking in here dressed as a woman lightened my spirits for a moment, before I dismissed the thought. No way the heir to a council seat was sneaking into a place like this. We approached the elevator I'd taken my first day here. Since the interrogation rooms were on the lowest level of the Black Citadel, right next to Z-Block, I hadn't seen it in a month. It looked as rickety and patched together as before. When I'd first stepped on it, I was worried it would collapse and cause us to plummet to our deaths. At least we were on the ground floor this time. The elevator doors shrieked like a banshee as they closed behind us, and when it finally began to move, the structure itself screamed as if trying to deafen us. The metal walls shook harder with each passing floor. Considering it held the magical world's most dangerous criminals, you'd think this place would have better upkeep. As if on cue, the elevator let out a choked roar and froze. The guard and I both lurched forward. I was rewarded for my misstep with a blade to the neck. The guard gave me a once-over with his impassive eyes before deciding I wasn't trying to kill him.